this week's episode of The Gentleman Show. We're currently in between bets, so today we decided we'd bring you something a little simpler, just kind of a podcast, if you will. So,
It ain't more simpler. It's just something to interact differently. So,
okay.
putting this out there. Hey, this means we have either differences in opinions or similar opinions. We will find out today how we feel about certain athletes, how we feel about certain evolution of gaming.
We're going to talk a little bit about some music, and we'll finish off with some funny stories from us just growing up. You can get to know us a little bit better and know what makes us tick and why we're so weird. So,
weird is an understatement. What is up?
So, we'll start with the sports. Sports have finally came back on, and we got a lot of basketball and football going on at the same time. So, it's hard to kind of keep track of. I've been watching like the sports bet commercials, and they're just kind of all over the damn place with everything. I don't know.
See, I've been really busy, so I've only been able to keep up with the highlights and the scores because I don't get to watch the games.
Yeah.
And but I still keep up a little bit with the reading the stats and stuff. I gotta keep them sports in my head, but you know what? I'll figure it out. I'm gonna get more involved in that from now on, just so I can talk about it.
One of my favorite sports is hockey, but unfortunately, unless you have cable, you ain't watching hockey because they don't put that stuff on free TV anymore.
Hockey?
But
who's your favorite fucking hockey player watching growing up?
oh man, I mean, an obvious one would be Wayne Gretzky. But when I was
Mario Lemieux.
Yep. One of my all-time favorites, though, growing up, because I was a goalie through high school. I played hockey for a long time through high school, and I was a goalie. And one of my favorites was Patrick Waugh. And this dude, he was just insane. Went to the All-Star teams. Actually, a lot of people off the Colorado Avalanche, which is my favorite team, ended up on the All-Star games right before they had that shutout that's ruined everything. And then after that,
it fucking ruined everything. Life stopped existing and everything. Plants stopped growing.
It was horrible, dude. It was just like nobody could get the contract that they wanted. The unions were being horrible. And so nobody played, and just like it went on, I don't know.
Talk your shit.
It went on for like almost 2 years. This lockout where nobody could get paid, and then when hockey did come back, it was just nobody even talked about it. It just kind of disappeared. And now I don't know. It's you don't even hear it on the news or anything. Nobody's talking about the hockey Stanley Cup playoffs. No, you haven't heard shit about it in years. Hockey's been going on for like the past 6 or 7 years. It's been back. And
see, I just don't keep up with hockey. I don't know nothing, so everything he's talking about is new to me. I'm gonna have to do some research because I don't know if none of that's factual. He said it's factual statements, no opinions involved in these stories.
So, I rambled on about hockey. What's one of your sports that maybe you're excited to see coming back this year? Finally, we got sports back.
We got football. But it's different because my Oakland Raiders aren't Oakland Raiders no more. They're not mine. They're all our Raider Nation fans.
Are they owned by? Aren't they in Vegas now?
They're the Las Vegas Raiders. But hey, they came out with a win the first week. Let's get it. But I grew up watching when I used to be young, I used to collect sports cards, and when I first got started, me and my dad went to go get a deck of sports cards. We opened up a couple packs. I got a Kobe Bryant rookie card in a Lakers jersey, and he just got traded from Charlotte. The season had just started.
Right.
And
I do remember that.
So at that moment, I was like, this is my favorite card. This is my favorite player.
Right.
This is my favorite team. And I grew up watching the Lakers and Kobe Bryant from his rookie year. I became a basketball fan. That man is a legend. Rest in peace to him, his daughter, and everybody that was on that plane. Not just him. Everybody that was involved to the families as well. That sucks. But Kobe was a fucking beast.
The thing I did like about Kobe too is he never took anything too personal. Like one of my favorite things, you ever watch some of the old Mad TV sketches with Aries Spears where he played as Shaq, and oh man, so he always talked about how Kobe was a ball hog and stuff like this. And the thing was back then he was such a good sport about it. He never got bent out of shape or threatened to sue Mad TV or anything like that. He had a good laugh about it, and it was, I think that's what made him such a great player was for the sport. He was a pure
you know what?
ball player.
The media blew it up out of proportion. I don't really think they had a problem with each other. Of course, they had their problems. Every athlete does.
Well,
if you're
yeah.
an athlete, you're gonna argue about certain stuff that you don't think. Maybe you think the one's not working hard enough.
Well, you want to be
make
the
sure.
star.
So,
You want the
well,
headlines to be about you.
not necessarily, man. You
Ah.
want to win. That's the key ingredient. You don't want to be better. You want to win. You want to be better, but you also want to win. Like
Everybody
you
wants
can't
that.
You can't be better without winning.
Everybody wants that MVP trophy, though. And let's be honest, Kobe won that.
The
a
championship
fair-
trophy is the one that
Oh,
I
yeah.
think everybody wants, and that's
Yeah,
in
that's
any
it.
sport. The championship trophy. What are you talking about? You going to NASCAR? You're not going for second place. You're trying to get that trophy. You're trying to drink that milk, baby.
Oh man, NASCAR. NASCAR's been kind of. I don't know.
I don't
that's
keep
been
up with
awful. Oh,
NASCAR
my
because
God.
the very first race I watched, dude, they said pick your favorite racer. I said, oh, I like that all black car. It had a number 3 on the side. It was Dale Earnhardt Sr. And then we watched the race. He got in a car crash and died. And so I was like, well, that sucks.
Oh,
My
man.
favorite racer just died on the first episode. The first time I picked a driver. First time I ever watched it. So
I,
don't
I
like the
actually
sport.
I remember that. I remember that day
That's
because
not NASCAR's fault. It was
my
awesome stuff.
my stepdad at the time, he was a
I don't wanna
huge
keep up.
NASCAR Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, and we were actually out at a restaurant, and the race was on in the bar, and the table we had, you could watch the race, and I remember watching the whole wreck go down and all that stuff. It was horrible. It was terrifying. The worst thing I had ever seen happen on a TV, and
It was crazy.
but he knew right then. He called it right then, and it sucks because it is. I think it is hard for. I don't know. It'd be so hard for me to be a kid and see my dad die on national TV.
Right.
You know,
facts.
it's you know.
Well, the whole world saw it. His whole family saw it. Like, it's devastation. I'm not saying his whole family and like the whole world actually saw it, but
Everybody watching
was,
that Sunday did.
yeah, there's a lot of people because NASCAR used to be huge. I mean, it's still huge. Like, I just don't keep up with it like that.
I'd say when Jeff Gordon kind of backed out, he was the big baby
Well,
face.
you had Jeff Gordon,
He was
Tony
kind of
Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt Jr. You had
Yeah.
a bunch of racers, even a
Jeff
bunch
Gordon.
of ones on the
Jeff
national.
Gordon was the. I'm trying to think. What Tom Brady? He was the Tom Brady of NASCAR. You know, he had the good
Tom Brady's
he had the good smile and all that stuff. He didn't look like the dude that just came out of the backyard. You know, working on his own car in his garage. He had the great smile, the great attitude. You could put him on a poster, put him in that little Tide shirt, and everybody's like, oh, you know, he was so great.
Yeah. So, speaking on that, how you feel about? I don't know. We had mentioned this when I first got in contact with you about John Elway
John Elway,
and Peyton Manning.
I think it's very interesting because John Elway and Peyton Manning have been two of my favorite quarterbacks. Watching football growing up,
Factual
and
statements for a lot of people. Them two are great.
I think what was so awesome was that they both, when they retired, I mean, literally went out on top, won the Super Bowl, got that ring, and that's when they went out. I can't think of a better way to retire from your sport than just going out
Yeah,
purely
they're
on
definitely
top.
some of football's elite top goats, like
Yeah, and I
they're
mean,
legends
and
amongst other legends.
and both of them, like, you know, when they went into it, you know, there was a lot of, can they still go? Peyton had just had his neck all redone and stuff like that.
Man,
and
he
so-
went through a lot.
Yeah, and so they were even worried, you know, was he even gonna be able to make it through the season, make it through the game? And I remember Elway, I think it was his knees were at the time were starting to really act up, but both of them pulled out an amazing win at the end. And
Phenomenal,
I mean, that win for Elway, I remember watching that as a kid, and just
Are you talking about the Super
Goosebumps.
Bowl where
Goosebumps.
they both played for the Broncos?
yeah.
Over their Super Bowl, both of them
Yeah,
played for
both
the Broncos, when
Broncos.
they won. Yes, that
Both
is
Broncos
right.
went out on
Mark
nice
that as
orange and
facts on
blue.
here.
You know, I loved it. It was great. And when Peyton went out, I thought it was just a fantastic. It was beautiful. So let's change subjects a bit here.
The
and
evolution of gaming.
let's talk about gaming. So what was your favorite system growing up? What was your favorite console growing up.
Ooh, Super Nintendo. That's really the only one I grew up with aside from PlayStation 1. But Super Nintendo is what I started playing as a kid and played for many years. I had many great games on there.
I think it's pretty clear to see where my allegiance lies. The first console I ever got was a Nintendo 64, and I mean, I had played with an NES and a Super Nintendo, but it was always at my friend's house. The first one I actually got was a Nintendo 64, and I remember getting that thing, hooking it up, and just, what the fuck, this is what video gaming is, and got me hooked instantly.
And what was that? The 64? No,
Yeah.
that's a great console. I ain't gonna talk crap about it because it has a Super Smash Bros. Game. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, and
Talking
the
your
thing is,
shit.
the thing is it was a really successful console for Nintendo, but when you look at that period between the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation, it had actually the smallest library of games out of those three consoles, and it's, I mean, by a couple hundred, a lot smaller library of games, but I don't know, it's just something about it was so, I think part of it was people weren't really ready to make the transition to DVD and stuff like that, because we all had, when I was younger, and my friend got a PlayStation, I was like, dude, this isn't good. I'll take a cartridge any day. And they're like, why? I'm like, well, I got CDs at home. What happens when your CD gets scratched and it just fucking stops working? You know, it's no good. Cartridges always worked. But I will say, the biggest console in my life where I broke all the molds was the GameCube.
GameCube.
Dude, I was all about the GameCube.
Nintendo 64 GameCube. This motherfucker got the Rona. He's not even wearing a mask, no gloves, just coughing all on me.
I ain't got the fucking Rona. I got sinus infection, asshole.
When I come back with positive, bro, we suing this man for everything he got.
But
I'm just playing.
the GameCube was really awesome. The thing I loved about my GameCube, and I still actually do to this day, was I used to get onto Amazon, right? And this was back when it was a real small little thing, like back before Amazon was big, if you can remember that far back.
I can remember as far when Amazon didn't even exist.
MySpace was the popular thing then.
Well, MySpace didn't even exist.
Yeah.
I can remember all the way back to when Yahoo Cool was a big ass thing.
And or MSN Spaces. I had a MSN Spaces. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. But anyways, I get onto Amazon and
Oregon Trail.
Oh god, I love that game.
I heard Amazon. My bad, I couldn't help.
I love that game.
Oregon
You know you can't find it.
Yes, you can. They got it on computers. They got the little OES thing that you can transfer into the newer computers, and you got like you can play it.
Yeah, I mean the thing was like
legit.
there was actually an updated version that came out.
I think I remember that.
It came out on phones, and it had been redone with cartoony graphics and stuff like that. And I got it on my phone, and it was really fun. And so I got rid of that phone a long time ago, and I decided I'd look it up and try to play it again. And they discontinued it in like 2011, and just never sold it again. And so I've always tried to find like an updated version of the Oregon Trail, because I don't really think it's that hard of a game to make. It's pretty simple, and the fact that nobody out there has been willing to try to do an updated version of the Oregon Trail is actually kind of disappointing. It's really disappointing.
They should, like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but
that does look pretty cool.
The evolution of gaming, bro. It's amazing how you were just talking about games on your phone. Like, I would have never even imagined that, bro, because I had beepers when I was a kid. Like,
yeah,
fuck's a fucking a cell phone with a touchscreen and a game. It's crazy how we revolutionized. Now they got these 3D gaming things and shit.
It is really funny to think that the first ever video game I played was Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and just last week I played the Vader Immortal, which is a Star Wars game in VR. The jump in technology is just, it's insane. It's insane. However, there have been some downsides. I would say as a whole, I haven't been really impressed with the gaming community as a whole lately, because I feel like a lot of stuff gets scrapped in favor of making more money. before you played like Super Mario, you'd have like a whole bunch of bonus levels, a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't even part of the main game that you could just unlock, or even cheat codes. You could use cheat codes to completely access whole new versions of the game. And now, if you want that, it's 99 cents on
I
the
like how you used to be able to
store.
buy the whole game and play the whole game as a game. It had no add-ons. Everything came on the game. Came on the game. I mean, I like updates and stuff, but
And
if you
that's
update
it-
the game, you should get it if you bought the game. There's no reason why you should.
Well, and that
have to
was
buy
the
extra
that was the
items.
other thing I was going to
It's
get at
crazy.
too, is some people pay $60 for like these Madden and Call of Duty games and stuff like that. They'll pay a full $60 for this game, go home and then drop like another $120 to unlock
Just-
cards to get characters and the
It's ridiculous. Or
it's-
to increase their stats quick, man. It's ridiculous.
and
bro. You gotta buy extra to get out of here, man.
well, and I feel
it's
that
great.
they also
It's not mine.
release games
I don't
and
agree with it.
it's more it seems like more common now. You hear about games being released that are completely broken because they just plan on patching it and updating it at a later date. And it's like, I just paid you $60 for this. Don't sell me a broken game that you're gonna fix later.
Yeah, facts.
So,
Facts.
but gaming. It's interesting. It's constantly evolving. It's becoming like really a new media, all of its own.
I remember that every mall used to have an arcade where you go and it just be not the arcade games where you roll balls and are shooting basketballs, which yeah they had a couple of them machines, but there was mostly all joystick and little blue and green and white buttons, usually sometimes red. And you'd have the buttons and you just go there. Sometimes they had the ones where you actually could sit on a motorcycle or get inside of one and make it feel like a car.
My
Like
favorite ones is
arcade.
Did you ever play the Simpsons arcade game? Where you played as one of the four
I
characters.
probably
Yeah,
have,
it was,
I probably have. I just don't remember.
But you know what? I really miss the most about gaming and kids is this is something that generations now will know nothing about, but our generation will know a lot about. Going to like Kmart or Target with your parents, right? And they'll say, "Hey, you go hang over in the electronics section. We're gonna go shopping. We'll be right back." And why was it that you go hang over in the electronics section? Because they had all the games on little display monitors. Remember that? And you'd go over there, and it was almost like a free arcade. There'd be lines of kids lining up to play the new PlayStation 2 game. Everybody would take turns swapping off. They had 64 and GameCube,
Oh,
and
yeah,
just
I
like a
remember
wall
all
of
that,
it, and
yeah.
just kids
That-
like this.
Yes.
Playing games the
Man.
whole time. Parents are shopping and getting groceries, and they're not. You don't do that anymore.
No, not out. But at Walmart, yeah, you just sit there and play video games.
Yeah,
Not worrying about shit, bro. You're a kid. You're on a video game. You're just having the time of your life while everybody's shopping.
right. And the other thing I missed is like demo discs. When you buy like a PlayStation magazine or go to Best Buy and you get a demo disc with like 5 new games on it, you only play the first level, but you at least got to see what the game was about before you actually went and bought it. You don't do that now. You buy the game. It either sucks or it doesn't. But either way, you
They
just
have
lost
certain
$6.
free to try games for like an
Yeah,
hour. It
but
gives you
not-
like an
not
hour to
as-
try it though.
Not as nearly as extensive as they used to.
No.
Demos were a real thing back in the day. But, so yeah, games changed a bit. One thing that I do really like about gaming, though, is the music. And speaking of music, what would you say has been the most excited artist you've seen making waves this year? 2020 has been such an
I don't know
interesting
about
year.
making waves this year, but they have made waves. My two artists that I'm gonna speak, they've always made waves, and well, actually, Eminem dropped an album this year. That's good. He dropped a few features. He was featured on a couple songs. That was great. And Snow the Product, she just dropped a new song. That was great. Me and my buddy John actually have a reaction video I gotta put up of to one of her songs. But yeah, she's dope as fuck, bro. I've been following her since goddamn way, years, bro. It's been years now.
You ever,
Them two artists are legitly dope.
did I ever show you the band Ginger? They've got this female, it's a heavy metal band. Big shock. I'm into metal, he's into rap. It works though. Linkin Park made it work.
I don't understand what this has to do with Eminem and Snow the Product.
Well,
but hey,
the reason why is because you were just talking about a female. making huge progression in the field of rap. And
Man, she not just a female, she an elite
Ginger,
MC, female or not, bro. She destroys.
well, Ginger's headed up by this band, or headed up by this front woman that does like that really heavy growl stuff that you normally hear coming out of a guy, and it is so weird because she's just this like 80-pound little nothing and just the deepest,
Man,
darkest
I've seen a
growl.
couple videos of her actually. She's actually really,
Yeah,
really dope.
but
really
it's
dope. She sings and she can do that growl. It's
yeah,
crazy.
and you
She's
just
so
you look
dope.
at it and you, at first you're like, nah, that's like somebody. So that's a pre-recorded somebody in the background. Then I watched a live video of her and it's like, no, this little thing has a terrifyingly
she
deep
does
voice.
That. She does that for real.
And
very gifted.
yeah, for real. And but so yeah, Eminem. I haven't really I haven't really been following him. I I saw the MGK.
I gotta catch this man up on him.
I saw the MGK diss thing, Kill Shot, great song. I liked it. He definitely owned MGK there pretty hard.
They
But
both did their thing for what it was. Eminem was, oh man, he
well,
just,
Eminem's just seasoned.
He's a savage, bro.
He's seasoned. People have been coming after him for years. You know, he's seen it, heard it. You know, you can't really say much more to the man.
He practices almost every day, I guarantee you. For his whole life, he's probably, majority of that, he's worked on his craft. Majority of his life.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't get to be as good as he is by just kind of fucking your way through it. You
Man,
gotta.
that man is crazy. Oh, I remember listening to the Slim Shady LP, bro. This was before, I didn't even know he made an album before that called Infinite. Like, I first heard, I was a kid, I think I was probably in 5th grade. And I think I'm Slim Shady, there was one probably before that came on the radio. There was a couple from that album that came on the radio. And man, that shit was hyped on the bus. And it was on Hot 107. I don't know if you remember that channel back when we were kids.
Yeah.
And they used to play the hottest rap music in the game, and that was one of the artists. And Eminem was fucking dope, bro. I never heard nobody as crazy as that, man. I was just like, what the fuck? Kill bitches, kill bitches, kill bitches. My bad for saying that, but that 5th grader listening to that, I was
You
intrigued.
were cool. You were cool.
He was like, I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I'm a stand from like the beginning of the time.
You know what the thing I do like about Slim Shady is he's got a really good sense of humor. Did you ever see or Eminem? I don't know why I just call him Slim Shady like it's the '90s again. But Eminem, did you ever see he did the interview with Weird Al Yankovic where he came out as gay and it's just really
I
funny.
actually did not see that. Can you pull that up on your computer?
Yeah, I'll pull it up here in a second. But real quick, because I don't want to lose this thought. You know how I always thought it'd be really funny to see Eminem rap battle because he is a very fast rapper. I mean, that's pretty much what he's known for is his insane speed. Do you remember the guy that used to do the Micro Machines commercial back in the '90s? That would, Micro Machines are the best. You can go through the town and you just talk like insane fast. He actually holds a world record for the most words spoken in a minute. And I always thought it'd be kind of funny to see Eminem, the world's fastest rapper, go up against this guy, the world's fastest talker, and just have them. I mean, it probably just sound like nothing but pure gibberish after a little while, but I think it would be fun to watch.
That man alive, because that man don't know how to put words together. He just talks fast. Like he knows how to put words together, but not like how. Man, Eminem would slide.
Well, yeah, no, he would definitely be able to rhyme, but I'm just talking about on a pure speed record. It's like give them both the same lines and just see who can deliver it faster.
Man, you better give them different oxygen tanks. They need to breathe, bro. They're not gonna breathe, bro. They're not gonna breathe.
It's. I think it'd be a pretty fun little thing.
Everybody behind their computer's gonna be trying to do this for them. Trying to catch their own
Turn
breath.
on the little auto
They're gonna lose their
captions,
own
and the
breath.
auto captions not even gonna be able to make sense of what's being said. It's just gonna be like, look, I give up.
And that's why I like Snow the Product. She the same way, bro. She dope. She fucking her lyricism is off the charts. There's many others like that. You got Tech Nine, you got Royce, you got Crooked Eye, you got a bunch of them, man. You got DMX.
The thing that I like metal, and the thing that's kind of bummed is I feel like in terms of rock and metal, we've lost a lot of unique artists. And the thing that bums me out about metal nowadays is I'm not trying to say that all sounds the same, but after a while it does all kind of sound the same. You got bands like Five Finger Death Punch and stuff like that have a very safe sound. And one of my favorite, and that, you know, we lost Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington.
A lot.
But I think one of the most influential, like, crazy artists out there that we lost in the world of metal was Wayne Static. And I mean, you knew that dude. Even if you weren't even into metal, you knew Wayne Static because he was the dude that had like the Marge Simpson hair, you know. And but he had such a unique voice. And you heard a Static X song come on, you knew it was a fucking Static X song.
Yeah.
So, but I think we're gonna wrap up this little
Factual
segment.
statements, all right there.
And we're gonna move on to the next segment here.
I'll put more shine on Snow the product. I promise you that. I ain't really talking.
Well,
about
you know
her.
what? Well,
She's dope as hell. He always cut me off when I bring her up. So.
why
all my
don't you
friends do.
why don't you put a link to her video in the description? Your favorite
Man, you
favorite
don't need no
song.
link. Look her up on YouTube right now. You don't need no link. Look her up yourself. Give her that search.
Look her up.
Increase her
Views.
and stuff.
Share it around. If you know,
Search up my man No Other in the Process if you like lyricism.
yeah, do that. Now,
We are back and we are taking the dookie. We are taking our revolvers I meant, throwing the dookie in the air and shooting the shit with y'all. Let's get into it.
so my story is actually, it's a pretty extreme little story, but when I was younger, I was about 13 years old, my grandparents decided that they would take us whitewater rafting in North Carolina. And if you've never been whitewater rafting, it's pretty intense. Like this was like a no joke thing. Like
I don't know too many Mexicans that do that, but if you do and you're Mexican, let me know. Put that shit in the comments. I've never whitewater rafted or anything similar to that.
well, after this, I never did ever again myself, so it might just be a human with a fear conscience. But anyways, so the whole experience is like it's like a 4 to 5 hour thing. Like you have to go in, you sign a waiver, they take you through an instructional class, what to do if you fall out of the raft, and what the path is going to be like and what to expect. And so then you all hop onto a bus. They drive you up to the top of this mountain. They put this big inflatable raft in the water. You jump in the raft. They kick you off, and you go on down the river.
That sounds horrifying and stupid.
People
People probably have a great time doing that. I'm not knocking it because I never tried
We
it and
didn't.
I probably never will.
We didn't. That's the whole point of the story is we didn't. So we've been on. At this point, we've been on the water for about an hour and a half, and my grandmother gets this harebrained idea that she's going to sit on the wall of the raft. Now, through the whole thing, they were telling us.
You know what's going through my head. I know what's going through yours, my man. Go ahead.
Oh no. Through the whole thing, they're telling us, do not sit on the wall of the raft, because if you hit rapids, there's nothing you can hold on to.
Yo.
So, sure enough, we hit some rapids, and over the wall goes Grandma. Right into the fucking river.
A waterfall.
Pretty much. So, she's in the water. Here's my grandfather. Me and my sister both hit the side of the boat and go, oh, Grandma's falling in the water. And here's this dude. He's up front, paddling the fuck away. He's done with this shit. He's even making comments about how he's gonna get insurance money. And he's just fucking. So me and my sister, we lean over the edge of the boat. We're grabbing her up, and we finally get her back into the boat. She's completely soaked, and of course oblivious to the fact why any of that happened. It's like, gee, Grandma, why'd you end up in the river? I don't fucking know. So we eventually make our way down the river, and Grandma's back in, completely soaked, and we find they have this little restaurant area off on the side. You pull off,
I'm sorry,
we
Grandma.
get something to eat.
That's funny.
We get something to eat. It's funny because she's fine. You know, if she wasn't fine, this would be a very dark story, but it is fine. So we pull off, we get something to eat, and get back in the raft. Now we're going down. Now we're at this point where we're really deep in the valley. On either side of us are 20-foot sheer vertical rock walls. They got like the roots of the trees are popping out and stuff like that. And this is the moment. Remember, I'm 13. My grandfather wants me to steer the raft. I can't even get over the wall of the boat with the oar. So I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to steer the raft. So he's getting really pissed because it's a rite of passage for a man to steer a raft. And he's getting really pissed. My grandmother's sitting back. She's going, Danny, he can't even get over the wall. He can't steer this. He can't steer this. This dude gets so pissed off. Remember, Valley, Rapids, he has us pull the raft over like a fucking car on the freeway. Has us pull the raft over to the side of the valley. And this dude gets up, starts grabbing the roots, and climbs a 20-foot vertical wall so he doesn't have to be in the fucking raft with us anymore. Because he's done with this shit. And it's a 4-mile hike back to base camp. So here he goes. He's going to walk back to base camp. What's even funnier, so about an hour later, because it took us a while to get back off the rocks and get back going again, so he had a pretty good head start. About an hour later, we pass him while he's walking down the road. And we know it's him because he's got this bright yellow life preserver on. And we pass him and I go, Grandma, isn't that Papa? She goes, yeah, it is. Wave. And I'm like, I don't want it. And then wave. Wave at him. We're going to show him we're having fun. We're having fun. Wave to him. And just, hey! And he looks down. We're having fun! And me and my sister are just sitting there completely mortified. Like, what do we do? Well, I guess we should wave because Grandma's going to throw our asses out of the boat if we don't. So we get through all that, and we finally get back down to base. We ended up getting ourselves beached on a rock right before the end. So they had to send a rescue boat out to pull us off the rock to get us back to shore. We finally get back on shore. And we're heading back to our cabins, and this is where my grandfather's insanity reaches its peak. So we're driving through the mountains of North Carolina, and on one side, again, wall straight up. On the other side, wall straight down. And you're on this little narrow road that's just going through. This guy decides he wants to change his shirt. He's driving through the mountains, and he wants to change his shirt right now. And he says, Robert, you can drive the car, right? And I said, well, I've never driven in the mountains, so you can drive the car. And he lets go of the steering wheel while we're in the mountains to change his shirt. He starts unbuttoning his shirt. No steering wheel. Again. So I lean over and I grab the steering wheel. Now I'm trying to drive this car while we're going through the mountains. Well, his foot on the accelerator, and we're just... Worst vacation ever. Worst vacation ever.
Yo, I can't relate, but that just makes me... I never in my life would water raft. My life would not...
No, you don't... That story didn't convince you?
That definitely... I was already convinced before that story, but because of that story, I'm just saying I cannot relate.
Don't go whitewater rafting with my family.
That is not a right of privilege in my family.
The message you should take away from that is don't go on vacations with my family. They're fucking crazy. And trust me, I got more stories. We'll make this a whole little thing. I got more stories. Dude. But anyways, you got something?
Man, to tell you what, man, I don't even know if I want to tell my story after that one. That one was a good one, but I remember there was this one time, bro. Alright, so I never really took family vacations like that, so I really can't talk, but we did go out and do stuff. And one time, my mom, she worked at this one place. It was called Fun Stop. It was in Texas.
Yeah.
It was in El Paso, Texas, and
Yep.
it was called Fun Stop.
Yep.
And they had a bunch of little arcade games. They had the little balls, like just slide and go through the balls, like a little maze that you could crawl through. And they had a bunch of stuff in this little arcade thing room. And man, we used to get a piece of pizza when she used to take us there on her day off. And we get pizza, and we just play fucking games and get so many tokens and just fucking go ham. Well, one day, it didn't work out like that. I had a bright idea that I was going to take all my panties with me and start shoving them in all the slides. Yeah, bro, I clogged up all the machines and I never got caught to this day because I never said nothing. But like I figured out all my pennies were gone. I'm like, man, it didn't work for no games. I thought maybe I'd get lucky with one of the slot machines. Nope. So I could only play like 2 more games that I didn't break for the rest of the night. That was basically my story.
We had a place here called Fun Spot, and the Fun Stop reminded me of this story. And so what this was an old school carnival, like wooden freaking roller coasters and all that stuff, and they had a glass house, one of those invisible wall mazes, and I decided I was going to do that, and I was working my way through, and I was so certain I had found the exit, so I go running full steam straight into a glass wall, gave myself a massive nosebleed, and then proceeded to bleed all over the rest of this. So the kids that were coming in behind me at least knew where to go, because if you didn't go where the blood was, you were fine.
Right.
But a quick bonus story about my grandfather's temper, because it's brought me so much joy over my life. We were helping somebody move one time. Now my grandfather, he's this little Italian guy, and that might actually be something with it, because his whole family, they're all really hot-blooded and angry. And the thing that would suck when they would get into a fight, like him and his sister and his mother, if they get into an argument when we were in Florida, they'd all start yelling in Italian, and it was you know, you're just sitting there going, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Just please stop yelling in this weird alien language. But anyways, my grandfather decides to help these people from church move, right? And they're moving on to this second floor of this apartment complex over here. And as we're getting stuff out of his van, somebody made the big mistake of going out and, you know, like the hatch door, they put their hand on top, and it came down and bonked him in the back of the head.
Your family be getting set up for failure, bro.
Now, if you have a hot-blooded Italian for a grandfather, you know getting bonked on the head is like turning on the Hulk. This dude was so pissed. He screamed, I'm fucking done with this shit. And he took all this lady's, like, she had all these suitcases, and he was walking to the stairs, and he was just chucking them up 2 flights of fucking stairs, because he was done. We got back in the van, we left, and just left him there with a pile of shit in front of the door, because he got hit in the head. But,
One thing we do know about your grandfather is he's done with this shit.
Yeah, no, he actually got kicked out of Walmart. He's not allowed to go back to Walmart, because he got really pissed at one of the lawn and garden techs. And the only reason why I knew about this is because I had a friend that worked at Walmart, and he called me up and he said, hey, isn't your grandfather's name so-and-so? And I said, yeah, it is. He goes, okay, yeah, he's banned from Walmart. And I was like, well, what happened? And he's like, well, he was in the lawn and garden center, and he was asking this kid to find him some 2-cycle oil for his motor, and the kid didn't know what he was talking about. And he just lost his shit about, how can you work in the lawn and garden center and you don't know how a lawnmower works? Are you a fucking idiot?
What the fuck?
And got his ass kicked out.
Your grandpa was a Richard, bro.
Oh, dude, you know,
his name was actually Richard, and no one knew it.
You know, we've always assumed that his real name might be a fake. He has all these stories when
Richard, he was a dick, bro.
His family came over from Italy, and they
I'm just playing. I don't know.
bought this. Oh no, he is a dick. But his family came over from Italy, and they bought this restaurant in Rochester, New York. This Italian restaurant, and they lived in the apartment above. And he has all these stories about how wise guys and mafia guys, because this was in the 50s, would come into the restaurant. You know, it's 50s New York. Hey, how you doing? And me and my family, we have this bet going that when my grandfather does pass, that a mafia guy is going to show up, walk in, and put like a single rose next to his bed, and we're all just going to have to sit there and go, Who the fuck was that guy?
Right.
And but with that, I think we're pretty good at calling this a close. I've embarrassed my family enough. Please don't watch this.
I haven't embarrassed my family yet, except for existing sad tear cry. I'm just kidding. It is what it is. Love y'all. This is I'm out.
Hey, you know, this was a blast, and we hope to do some more stuff like this. So we'll catch you next time.